Hi, I'm Bob Vila. Welcome home again to our Habitat for Humanity Blitz Build in Yonkers, New York. Today, our band of volunteers will be siding the house using an engineered wood product called Smart Lap. Then we'll take you to the Louisiana Pacific plant in Two Harbors, Minnesota to see how the siding is manufactured. Inside the house, it's time for sheetrock. Tim Smythe and his ace team of plasterers will have tips on how to sheetrock the whole house in less than a day. So stick around. It's great to have you home again.
Sears presents Bob Vila's Home Again.
The Blitz Build schedule for this house presents quite a challenge for the sheetrock and plastering crew. They have less than one day to sheetrock the whole house. Right now, several crews are working feverishly to put up the sheetrock in the first floor. The taping and joint compound crew will be right behind them. We'll check in on the progress of this project a bit later. At the same time, on the exterior of the house, we're putting up an engineered wood siding product called Smart Lap. Okay, like all different aspects of the Blitz build of this Habitat house, the siding is being done by volunteers. And in this case, we have a number of folks from the Goldman Sachs Investment Banking Company and Erica Tuft, who I'm going to interrupt. Hey, Erica.
Hi, how you doing?
You got the full group out here.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about the volunteers from Goldman Sachs.
Well, today we have about 15 people working on this project, and each day for the week we have 15 people coming. Goldman Sachs has a strong volunteer program. We give employees time off from work to volunteer.
That's excellent.
Globally.
Now, have you been involved with Habitat projects before?
Yes, we have. Actually, last spring we had about 2,000 people globally volunteering, helping to build about 73 homes and community centers around the world.
Around the world. That's terrific. And they're all driving the nails in the right place.
Yep.
I'll let you get to work.
Okay.
All right. Okay, well, let's hook up now with David Probst from Louisiana Pacific.
How are you?
Good to see you again. And let's talk a little bit about the siding product, okay? Because we're looking at this, it looks just like old-fashioned clapboards, kind of.
Well, actually, Bob, it's quite unique. What we're doing is we're installing the Smart Lap lap siding, and it's a part of the family of the Smart System products. Smart Lap, Smart Panel, Smart Trim, Smart Fascia.
It's engineered wood.
It's actually engineered wood. If you see the substrate, what we've done is we've taken aspen wafers and oriented them and bound them in a very strong MDI adhesive. And we've treated the product. All these Smart System products are treated with a Smart Guard process, which is a zinc borate, which is an antifungal and an anti-insect.
Well, tell me something now. Does that primarily keep the wood stable and prevent any kind of moisture damage or insect damage?
It prevents rot and insects.
Yeah. Now, let's talk a minute about the strength of this, because I've tried it. I mean, this is really stiff stuff.
Actually, you'll see it's actually more strong than hardboard siding, because you've actually got the wafers, and it's much more rigid.
Yeah, what I understand is that with computers, of course, you can essentially organize the direction of all these different shavings of aspen wood so that you get the maximum strength
As the
out
aspen wafers fall to the mat, they're oriented perpendicular in up to 5 layers.
Yeah.
And with the MDI rubinate binder adhesive, it makes for a very rigid panel.
Tell me about the finish a minute, though.
And what we've done, Bob, is we've put a resin-saturated paper overlay, an MDO finish, which gives it a protective skin or membrane to resist against moisture and water.
Medium density overlay, and then you've primed it.
And then we emboss it to give that nice cedar texture, and then we prime it. And also we have 3 coats of edge seal as well.
What about installation? How much of an overlap should you have?
What we should do on this product, this is an 8-inch piece sample that we have here. We bring the nail down, what this is called a top nail or a blind nail installation. We bring the nail down about 3/4 of an inch, and then when we bring the next course down, we bring it down a full inch. So it covers up all the fasteners, and you will not see any fasteners on the side of the wall.
Right, and you've got a 7-inch exposure to the wall.
Makes for a very attractive siding.
And then it's the same stuff that we're using for the trim around the windows and the corners.
We've incorporated the Smart System line of products throughout the house. We have the Smart Soffit, Smart Trim, Smart Fascia, Smart Lap, and also the Smart Panel.
Yeah.
So this is an engineered product for the 90s and the 20th century.
Fabulous. Well, we want to thank Louisiana Pacific for their participation in the project.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming out. They're having fun up there. You want to join them?
Yes.
Next, a visit to the Smart System engineered siding mill in Two Harbors, Minnesota. We're flying over Two Harbors, Minnesota, and we're about to land here. This is a wonderful little town on the shores of Lake Superior, just about 25 miles north of Duluth, Minnesota. And we're getting ready to visit the Louisiana Pacific operation here, where they're making all sorts of wonderful engineered lumber products. And joining us now is Charles Bradford, who's Vice President for Manufacturing for Louisiana Pacific.
Hey.
Hey.
How are you doing?
Good. That's a lot of lumber behind us. It must be just, you know, thousands of logs here. What kind of wood is it?
Well, this is aspen, and we've chosen to use primarily small diameter, fast-growing trees in our Smart System products. Really, the beauty of our product and the strength of the product comes from our innovation rather than the size of a tree. As opposed to a solid sawn or a plywood type product, when you use our product, you are reducing the country's dependency on old-growth forest.
So that's just one way that you're helping to keep the cost down, as well as, you know, helping Mother Nature.
That's exactly right.
Tell us what's happening behind you here.
Well, behind us here, after the logs come into the wood yard, we load them into what's called log conditioning ponds. And log conditioning ponds heat the logs up and make them easier to flake. It takes about 8 hours to move through the log conditioning ponds, and the temperature of the water ranges between 60 and 100 degrees, depending on the time of the year.
And they're getting totally waterlogged, as it were.
Yes, that is correct. That does saturate the logs, and it makes them easier to flake and to debar.
So what happens once the log comes out of the soaking pond and into the operation?
Well, the next phase of the operations is the debarker. We remove the bark from the logs, and then it moves into the slasher saws and then into the flaker.
Wow.
The flaker is a large disc of rotating knives that actually cuts the log into flakes. A typical flake is about the thickness of 8 to 10 sheets of paper and is about 4 inches long.
So it's a shaving operation.
Exactly.
And then what?
Well, then the flakes move on to the dryer, and the dryer is a large rotating drum, and the flakes move through the drum, and we circulate hot air that averages around 1,200 degrees through the flakes in order to remove the moisture. The next thing, the next part of the operation is called our blending operation, and the blender is much like a large clothes dryer. It's about 8 feet tall and 20 feet long. The flakes actually tumble through the blender, and that's where we incorporate special resins that bond the product together. After the product has had the resins applied in the blender, we put it through our Smart Guard process, and the Smart Guard process is a process which we add special environmentally friendly wood preservatives that prevent rot and fungal decay.
What are they? What's the preservative?
It's a borate-based preservative that's used in everyday products like soaps and fertilizers.
Okay, Charles, and what's happening to all this material at this stage?
Well, actually, things are really starting to come together here. What we have is a mat that's about 4 inches thick that's really composed of 3 different layers running in 3 different...
3 different directions.
Yeah, exactly, 3 different directions in order to give the product strength.
Right.
We have a continuous mat here, and we have a special saw that cuts the mat in two in order to prep it for going into the press.
This operation is happening right behind you right now.
That's exactly right. Now what you have is you have a mat that's been treated with all the resins, the environmentally friendly wood preservatives that protect against rot and fungal decay. And then there's a special paper primed overlay that's added before it goes into the press. Okay. The press itself has 8 openings, which have special call plates on it that have the pattern of cedar on it, so that when we put the press under pressure, what happens is we put the product in there and we put it under pressure of about 2,000 pounds and a little over 400 degrees of temperature for around 4 minutes. And we're actually pressing that cedar look into the panel.
All right. Well, let's talk about what happens when they come out at the other end.
Well, all of the boards now, they're considered boards now instead of flakes, are 8 foot wide by 16 foot long. Then we simply break the pieces down into the size that the customer requires. In the case of lab siding, it'd be 8 inches wide by 16 foot long. In the case of panels, it would be bigger, such as 4 by 8, 4 by 9, or 4 by 10 size. Then after we rip the products down, they have to have special edge sealers on the edge. So we have proprietary coatings that protect against moisture, intrusion, swell, and those kind of things that are applied in this finishing line that we have. After that, the products are simply bundled up into easy-to-handle packages.
Well, Charles, Smart Lap and Smart Soffit effectively can replace products like traditional red cedar, redwood, pine. What are the cost advantages?
Well, the cost advantage in the case of cedar is about half. What we've really done is created a treated engineered wood siding product that has all the beauty of a cedar.
It's got the curb appeal.
Yes, exactly, without all the costs. And it's also easy to install, and it's very durable, so we have a very strong warranty with our product.
So there is a warranty on it?
Absolutely. We have a 5-year 100% repair replacement warranty, and also a 25-year limited warranty, which is one of the strongest in the industry today.
Excellent. Well, Charles, thanks for the tour.
Thank you.
When we come back, we'll see how to sheetrock the whole house in less than 1 day. Well, like everything else in the Blitz build, the drywall is going at a very rapid pace. They really only started hanging board in here maybe 3 hours ago. It's all secured, and now, well, you can see how many men we've got on the case. Let me interrupt Tim Smythe over here, our plastering contractor. How are you, Tim?
Great, yourself, Bob?
I'm doing all right. I think it's all coming together very beautifully. How many guys do you have on the job right now?
We got 7 guys. A great group for an 8-inch came on down to help us out, and we're going for it.
But ordinarily, this would be a 2 or 3 man operation, right?
Definitely.
But we're trying to get in here and paint later tonight.
Yes, we are.
Think we're going to make it?
Yeah, definitely. We'll do
Now,
it.
this is not a skim job. It's a traditional tape.
Yeah, it's just a traditional drywall, a couple of coats, and we're going to texture it, then paint it.
And it's all been screwed off with power screws.
Correct. Right.
Yeah, so it's a first-class installation. What are you up to over here?
What we're doing is we're trying to get everything ready, and because, well, obviously this is kind of a crazy schedule, we need to figure out a way to get this done. So we're using fast-setting mud on the joints.
Fast-setting joint compound?
Right. But for the corners, those are the most difficult and time-consuming. We've come up with a new product. It's a pre-finished corner.
Right.
You know, if you want to put it on the outside, you put it on the outside or the inside, and it's instant, done right away.
So this is it here?
Yeah, that's one of them. This is the flexible. This will do any corner.
Okay, so you can bend this.
Yeah, you can bend it in or
and
out.
you can go in or you can go out.
Correct.
And it's pre-finished, but you do have to put compound on it, right?
You put it on with compound,
I see.
but then it's instead of a corner bead, it's like a corner cap, Bob.
Right.
So you put it on the compound, and instead of covering the whole thing with an 8-inch and a 10-inch knife, basically what you do is just strip the edge or feather the edge. Because it's made out of a paper, a plastic, and a paper. It's a composite.
I see.
And the plastic in the middle, instead of using a bead, is we took the plastic at the apex and went from very thick and tapered it all the way down to nothing. And then on the back side is all joint tape paper, so you have continuous bonding.
Very interesting. Can you show us how you put it on an inside
Yeah,
corner?
let me throw some mud in there. I'll show you an inside corner real quick here. Let me get off to the side here. You just get your all-purpose mud. Just
So you
swap
got
it in.
this one ready to go for
Yes,
an
we do.
inside corner.
Okay, just get your mud. Just like you're putting on a giant piece of joint tape, Bob, is basically what you do. So get your mud into place. Then you just take the corner. You want to shove it in yourself.
And you just shove it in.
Shove it in. Now, if you notice, if you shove it all the way up tight to the ceiling, just push it on up there. Okay, now when I wipe this into place, you'll notice it makes a perfect 3-way corner also.
All right.
That saves an incredible amount of time. So you take it, get in there. So you wipe it into place, make sure it stays up tight, and then you lay there's a paper flap along the edge. If you lay that paper flap down, Bob, it will never, ever crack out.
Really?
Yes, and I'll explain when I show you the product up by the camera. You just take it, you wipe it into place like so. And since I'm up high here, this is all you do is you feather the edge. Just like so. Angle your knife out. And then no mud goes in here whatsoever.
Any in the middle there?
No, it's a pre-finished corner. And it's really the same application for the outside.
So this is fast drying joint compound. How long will it take?
20 minutes.
40 minutes?
Yep, that's it.
That's it? Even without any heat here?
No, without any heat. With a fast setting, it's 20 minutes. With regular joint compound, however, because there's hardly any mud here, it's about an hour and a half, 2 hours. All your corners are done the same day, whether you use the fast setting mud or not.
Well, let's finish this one, and then we'll look at an outside corner.
What I'll do is I will take my roller here, just to speed things up, roll it into place. Lay my little flat down. And just strip my edge. One more there. Okay, let's go over to the outside corner.
All right, let's go to the corner back here,
Okay.
and we'll learn how we put the same thing on the outside corner. Normally, I'm used to metal bead because I worry about the strength of the corner.
Right.
And this seems pretty stiff, though.
Yeah, you know, what this is the way we design this thing, it's incredibly strong. In fact, it's probably 10 times stronger than a corner bead. This is why, Bob. We'll start from the back. See this yellow paper here?
Yeah.
That's joint tape paper, the same joint tape paper we've been using for 60 years.
Right.
So for every foot, we have about 48 square inches of bonding. Okay, so it's a continuous bond. All of the corners, plastic, metal, or the tape-ons, all the flanges float. So if you got a corner bead on, let's say, and it's nailed here, it's nailed there, and it's nailed there, well, it's attached right where it's nailed, but the flange is floating.
Exactly.
So you know the green shrinking lumber nowadays,
right.
how it shrinks in?
Right.
Well, that shrinks in, and the drywall moves, but the flange moves at a different rate.
Right.
That's why we always get those hairline
That's why you get
cracks.
the hairline crack.
Yeah.
And with this method, you don't.
Exactly.
All right, let's watch you put it
Now,
on.
before I do that, though, to demonstrate, and I'll put it on real quickly, is if you were to take this, there's nothing but air, and press on that as hard as you can.
Oh, you're right. Absolutely.
So you got all that bonding, all that strength coming together. It's
Right.
incredible. And I'll put it on for you.
Good.
Now what I'm showing here, this is actually an 8-foot stick. This is like the Ultraflex, except that it comes in stick form, so we call it the Ultra Corner. It comes in 8, 9s, and 10s. So you just slop your mud on. You just take a corner, and this is very easy to install, self-straightening.
That's it?
That's it. You shove it into place, and then you got to wipe it in. But here's the difference, Bob.
Yeah.
Corner bead. If you shove a corner bead in too tight, you get shiners.
Right.
It's hard to coat. Well, this one since it has the bevel, you want to shove this in tight. You want it tight and flat.
Right.
In fact, you just take it, you wipe your hand in, make sure it's tight to the ceiling. Just stick it in like so.
But no nails, no screws.
No nails, no screws, just all-purpose mud. And then you just check to make sure it's flat. I'll go ahead and wipe this very firm. Get most of my mud back.
Yep.
Again, most of my mud back. Now lay the paper flat down. Lay the paper flat down. And again, you just feather your edges.
Sure.
I'll just go ahead and keep wiping this in.
All right, Tim. Well, thanks for showing us.
Hey, Bob, thank you very much.
We'll be back in a moment with a progress report, so stick around. In real time, we're coming to the end of day 2 at our Habitat for Humanity Blitz build in Yonkers, New York. It's amazing to think that just about 48 hours ago we started with the foundation and deck. With the extraordinary efforts of the many, many volunteers, the house now has roof shingles and most of its siding. It has been an incredible couple of days. Come home again next time when the Blitz build continues. We'll be concentrating on the porches and trim. Riley will be working on the back porch with student carpenters from Saunders Tech, and we'll tour the reforestation project on Mount St. Helens. Till then, I'm Bob Vila. It's great to have you home again. For lots of information and resources for your home improvement project, check out my website at bobvila.com.